So hello everyone. So in the previous session just we have seen introduction to polynomials, and we have seen the important theorems that we have, and we have seen zeros of the polynomial and very important basic concepts we have discussed. And in this video I shall explain algebraic identities. So we shall see what are these algebraic identities and why they are very important. So they have many applications as such for expansions, and as for simplifications you will use widely in our maths. So we shall see everything related to identities in this particular video. So these are the basic algebraic identities right in front of you. So but the question is, how can we remember them? Is there any logic between them? How to just identify all those things and all? So we shall see just important concept here. So just I will explain that first, and with that example just you can write any algebraic identity very easily. Let us see that what it is. We all know what is a plus b whole square and how it will come. Let us see that. Suppose if I have a plus b whole square, or x plus y whole square for that matter. So what you will do here, whenever there is a square for whole, what you will do, you will treat as a plus b into a plus b, and you know how to multiply two expressions. As such, you will do it as a into a square, a into b, ab, and b into a, ba, plus b into b square, and it is a square plus 2ab plus b square. And this is no, just you know this. But why should we learn this? Suppose if I have 2x plus y whole square, and I can't every time just write these brackets together, and I can't every time multiply it. For the reason, what I will do is I will just keep in mind the basic identity. I have to just look at the things, I have to identify. It is in the form of a plus b whole square, where a is equal to 2x and b is equal to y. Then just I know this expansion is this one, and wherever I see x, just a, I will keep 2x. This will become 2x whole square, and 2ab. 2 into a means I have 2x, and b means y, plus b square, which is y square. But if it is a plus b whole cube, if it is a plus b whole power 4, can I remember them very easily? Is there any logic behind them? Let us see that. Suppose if I have x plus y whole power 1, so it will be x plus y only, nothing to bother about it much. But if I have x plus y whole square, I am writing it as x square plus 2xy plus y square. Just remember here what is happening. You see the power of x, it is 2 here, here it is 1 here, and can I say it has become x power 0 here. If I add it, x power 0 is 1 basically, and I will assume that here y is not there. Can I assume there is y power 0? And basically if you observe, the power of x is 2, then 1, then 0, and the power of one more variable we have becomes 0, 1 and 2. So power of one variable is increasing and the power of the other variable is decreasing, if you see this one. Now suppose if you have just written, I think x plus y whole cube, this is x cube plus 3x square y plus 3 y square x plus y cube. Here also see x starts with power 3, then it gave 1 to this one, so it became 2, then the x became 1 here, and at last x disappeared like x power 0. And in the beginning there is no y, I can write as y power 0, y power 0, y power 1, y power just 2, and y power 3. So when you have, we call it as a binomial, and we are expanding it to the power. So this is what we call binomial expansion basically. So you will be learning more about this in higher classes. But how we can actually do it? Suppose if I have x plus y whole power 4, should I take x plus y into x plus y into x plus y into x plus y? So there is no meaning at all. But if you observe the thing here, you will always start with x power 4 and nothing like y power 0, plus x will drop by 1, x will become x cube, and y will become 1, then x square, y will become 1 more here, plus x will till decline and it will become y cube, and x will become 0 and y become 4. And here if you observe, the powers of x are dropping, and these are what we call powers. But I didn't come to the coefficients. Here are some numbers. Suppose if you see, here there is some number 1, here some number 2, number 1 here, and here there is number 1, 3, and there is coefficient 3, and there is coefficient 1 here. And in this also there will be some coefficient. So how to just get them? So here there comes a very important topic called Pascal triangle. So what is that Pascal triangle? I will explain that first. It's a very simple concept, so it will help you a lot to just derive these and all. So let us see that what is that Pascal triangle and how it is useful in writing a plus b whole square, a plus b whole cube. And if you want to write from now a plus b whole power 6, you can write that with the help of the Pascal triangle. Let us see that quickly. What is the Pascal triangle? So I shall write 1 here, and first I will 1, 2, 1. So I will begin with 1 the top, and see here I write 1, 2, 1. Now just you write 1 here, and what is 1 plus 2? It will be 3, it will be written here. What is 1 plus 2? It will be written here, and 1. So just simply I am adding these two and writing here, I am adding these two and writing here, and at the one ends only 1 will be there. And in the next step also it will be 1, and add these two, you write 4, add these two, you add 6, and add these two, you'll be getting 4, and write 1 at the end. And just you take 1 at the end, add these two, it will become 5, add these two, it will become 10, add these two, it will become 10, and add these two, it will become 5, and add 1. Now if you see, it seems a triangle. Now just if you remember very clearly, what is a plus b whole square? A square plus b 2ab. I'm writing in order. So don't write a square plus b square plus 2ab. Why? Because here to use the Pascal triangle we have to mention them in order. So first power of a is 2, the power of a is 1, then a should disappear, that means only b should be there. Just you write like this. Now see, here 1 is there, here 2 is there, here 1 is there. So 1, 2, 1. So this is what you will get here. And in case of a plus b whole cube, when you have a plus b whole cube, so first you write a cube plus, you write some gap for what the coefficient, we don't know the coefficient. A has to fall by 1, it will become a square, then b has to gain 1. Why? Because there is no b, assume b power 0 is there. So plus, then a will again fall by 1, a, b square, then only b cube. Just try to identify the things and just try to write them in order. After that we have to write some numbers here, what we call them coefficients. What shall I write them as? Suppose if you see very carefully there, just it is the first step, it is the second step, and it is our third step. So in this third step what we have here, see, and we have 1 3 3 1. So 1 3 3 1, see here what we'll have. So just I have to write 1 here, I have to write 1 here, 1 3, right? First of all 3 will be here, and 3 will be here, and 1 will be here. So basically it is a cube plus 3a square b plus 3ab square plus b cube. So when you write them in order and you get the coefficients from this particular concept, that is what I call it as Pascal's triangle, mathematician Pascal triangle. So I can quote the coefficient. From now onwards, if I want to write a plus b whole power 4, where shall I go? I will be going to this line. These will be the coefficients 1, 4, 6, 4, 1. Just understand, the first will be here like this one. And before, if you want to add, just you can write it as here one more 1 you can add and write 1, 1, 1 like this. Why? Because if you have x plus y, so this will be the coefficient, x plus y whole power 1. So 1, 1 are the coefficients. So just make a correction here. So it will be 1, 1, 1, 1, 2, 1. So like that, these two are added here like this one. So like you can build up your Pascal triangle starting from 1. Let us see it again once. Again explaining how to draw the Pascal triangle. See, always you start from 1, 1, 1. Now if you write this 1 or not doesn't matter, just to make it a triangle, just I'm writing that one. So just you write 1 aside, 1 plus 1, you add these two, 2 and 1. Next 1, add these two, 3, add these two, it will become 3, and it can be 1. So 1, 1 plus 2, 3, it will be 4, and it will be 6, and it will be 4, and it will be 1. So this is how our actual Pascal triangle will look like. So this will be x plus y whole power 1. These are the coefficient. For x plus y whole square, these are the coefficients. So 2, 1, 1, 2, 1. and this will be x plus y whole cube, and this will be x plus y whole power 4, and so on. If you use this concept, you can write in everything. But if there are complicated powers, there you will have a theorem called binomial theorem. You will come to that in your 11th grade. But for now, just we are very convenient to write a plus b, just x plus y whole square, x plus y whole cube, x plus y whole power 4 with the help of this simple concept. Now see, when you have minus, suppose if I want to write x minus y whole cube, what shall I do? So if I know x plus y whole cube, x plus y whole cube, as I told, start from the first variable, give the highest power cube, then you keep plus, then just you write x square y, one less, again one less, and just increase the power of the y simultaneously, then decrease the power of x here by 1, it will become 3. Now I have to introduce the coefficients. So x plus y whole cube, so I will go to the third line, 1, 2, 3, see here, 1, 3, 3, 1. So just start from here, this is the first line. We need not to consider this line, just you can remember, you can remove that first line, second line, third line, 1, 3, 3, 1. So if the cube is there, you have to go to the third line there, just there you will be getting the coefficients as, let me introduce them, 1, 3, 3, 1. So x cube plus 3x square y plus 3xy square plus y cube. Make sure that you write them in order. You should not write x cube plus y cube. In that case, it won't work. So just if follow order, x cube is there, then it will become square, then it will become power 1, then it will become 0. Simultaneously, I can assume there is y power 0, it becomes y power 1. So no zeros are there, no y's are there, then y comes into picture, y square, y cube. When you write them in order, so this Pascal triangle will give you the coefficients 1, 3, 3, 1. Just keep them. Now I am asking you, what is x minus y whole cube? How to remember that? Simple. Just place minus in the same expansion wherever you see there. Alternatively, you just place negative signs. That means here comes minus, here comes, so plus minus, here comes minus. So it will be x cube minus 3x square y plus 3xy square minus y cube. So this is how actually this Pascal triangle will help us to identify x plus y whole cube and x minus y whole cube. It's a very simple concept. If you remember that, from now onwards you can conveniently write any powers. Remember, start with the highest power for one variable, and completely just you have to step by step decrease the power and go to the 0, and simultaneously whatever the other variable is there, that has to range from 0 to the highest maximum is 3. Should not write till x power 4. Why? Because the maximum value permitted here is only 3. So this way just you can write the powers, and this way just you can do our algebraic identities. So if you know this simple concept of Pascal triangle, from this just we can write 4 entities that we have. So we can write whatever a plus b whole square and a minus b whole square and a plus b whole cube and a minus b whole cube. So if you understand that concept, we very well write. So let me write it for you. So just you first a square, then ab, then a b square. That's it. You just keep the plus. Why? Because there is plus in between. Now coefficient. Go to the second line here. Suppose if you see here 1, 2, 1. So these are the coefficients. Just let me write 1 here and 2 here and 1 here. That becomes a square plus 2ab plus b square. If I want a minus b whole square, what I will do? In the a plus b whole square expansion, alternatively I have to minuses. So a square minus 2ab plus b square. I will advise you not change the order. If that once it is just changed, everything will go wrong. Here also start with the highest one variable x cube, a cube, plus a will get square, b will get 1. So see, add the powers, it will get 3 still. Okay. Now a will get 1 and b will get square. Why? Because a will further reduce by 1, b will gain 1, and last a will be having b cube. So a will get 0, that means into 1, and b will get 3 here. These are what we call powers. What about the coefficients? How shall we do that? See, go to the third line here, 1, 3, 3, 1. So just I have to introduce them like 1, 3, 3, 1. So a cube plus 3a square b plus 3ab square plus b cube. But remember, I'm writing them in a systematic order. You should not write a cube here, b cube here, and 3a square b there, and 3b square ab here, and ab square here, and should not say that 1 3 3 1. It's wrong. So why? Because I'm using a systematic procedure, decreasing one variable and increasing simultaneously in the product the other variable. Then only we can introduce these coefficients from the Pascal triangle. They are known as binomial coefficients. The nomenclature is not that much important, but see how this is helping us. And if you know, once you know this one, just it is easy. A cube, just keep alternative minuses, plus minus 3a square b plus 3ab square minus b cube. But I am following a systematic order here that we have to notice. So this is how you got a plus b whole square, a minus b whole square, and a plus b whole cube, and a minus b whole cube. Now just we have few more identities like a plus b plus c whole square. So this is nothing but a square plus b square plus c square, square everything, plus 2ab plus 2bc plus 2ca. Everything will come 2 times. So just you take a, b, c in cyclic order, square it, a square, b square, c square, over, squares are over, then 2 into a into b, 2 into b into c, 2 into a into c. So this is our one more identity that we have. And one more thing we have, x plus a into x plus b. So this is there from your 8th class onwards. This is x square plus, just you add these two, a plus b into x, plus then you directly add these two, then it will multiply these two, ab. This is one more we have. And we have very important thing here. So we have an identity which is like a cube plus b cube plus c cube minus 3abc is equal to a plus b plus c into a square plus b square plus c square minus ab minus bc minus ca. So very important thing, just you observe, it's very easy to remember also, a cube plus b cube plus c cube minus 3abc. So this is only the just we can say algebraic identity that we can have with 3 variables. So when here there are 3 variables and there are cubes, ultimately that question would have been based upon only this thing, right? So just we have to do this thing. And in this one, observation is there, if a plus b plus c is equal to 0, this entire thing will become 0. So 0 into something will become 0. So then a cube plus b cube plus c cube is equal to 3abc. So this is one important information that we can deduce from this particular identity. So this is very important, I can say. So then I have 2 more important identities with me. So that is if you see x cube plus y cube and x cube minus y cube. Very important. So whenever I say x cube plus y cube, so this will be like this, x plus y, just you write plus, into x square minus product plus y square. So there comes minus in the middle, just to follow the order. When you are observing the things here, if x cube plus y cube is there, it is very different from x plus y whole cube. It is not x plus y whole cube, it is x cube plus y cube. So whenever I say x cube plus y cube, it becomes x plus y with the same sign I wrote into x square in between minus xy plus y square, and x cube minus y cube will be x minus y into, you take square plus xy plus y square. So if minus is outside, inside the bracket there will be a plus, and there is no 2 here, remember. It is very different from a plus b whole square and a minus b whole square. And if you want to prove it, just you take the LHS and you multiply it, you will get your RHS as such. So this is a few important things we have. And you know, x plus y into x minus y basically is going to be x square minus y square. So these are what we have, the important identities. So knowing them, by having them, it is immaterial whatever you do. So we have to apply them at a right place. We have to identify them where they are hidden. We can use them for expansions, we can use them for the factorization. So let us see how these expansions will help us actually. So let us understand with some examples how these algebraic identities will help us. So we have discussed everything, but my question is, do we really know much about these? What are these algebraic identities? So let us understand what is an algebraic identity. Suppose in math, suppose if I write x plus 3 is equal to 6. Now when I keep some value for x, this LHS and RHS will still become equal. What is that value here? If you identify there, if I keep x is equal to 3, this 3 plus 3 is going to become 6, both are equal. Now this particular value of equation is satisfied for only one value. But what if I say x plus 3 plus 2 whole square is equal to 5 square? So see, whenever I say a plus b whole square is equal to a square plus 2ab plus b square, in this case whatever the value is substitute, you take 2, 3, 4, 5, whatever you take, this will still valid. A plus b whole square will be same as a square plus 2ab plus b square. For example, see, in this case I have taken 3 plus 2 whole square. So 3 square a square plus, in place of b 2 is there, 2 square. Some of you will write a plus b whole square is a square plus b square. That is not true. Whenever there is a whole square, we have to use a plus b whole square formula. This is a common silly mistake that you commit, right? So this is 2 into 3 into 2. So 2ab. Let us see that 3 square is 9. This is 4. This is 6 into 2, 12. So 4 plus 9 is basically 13. 13 plus 12 is going to be 25. And what is 5 square? It is also 25. So whatever you take minus values, you take plus values, positive, doesn't matter at all. So it will satisfy. That is what we call algebraic expression. That is what we call not expression, that is identity. So whenever identity is there, it will be satisfied by each and every value. Whatever you substitute, that is immaterial. Your LHS should be equal to the RHS irrespective of the values to substitute. Then only we say that that is an algebraic identity. So far we have seen these algebraic identities and how they are and all. So how they will help us actually. Suppose, let us take an example here. Suppose I have been asked to find what is x plus 1 by 2 into x plus 1 by 3. Now if you want to do it, you can do it using distributive property, multiplying each and every term. But do I have any identity in this form? Yes, I have one. I have x plus a into x plus b is equal to x square plus a plus b into x plus ab. So now in place of x there is x, and in place of a there is 1 by 2, and in the place of b there is 1 by 3. So simple matter of substitution, you will get answer very easily if you know this thing. And sometimes what will happen, x plus 3 into x minus 3. Again it is the form of a plus b into a minus b. Always try to use different set of variables than in the identity, right? So here I can say x is equal to a and this 3 is b. So what is a plus b into a minus b? It's basically a square minus b square. But my way, a value is not a here, it is x. So this is x square minus my b value is 3. So that is why 3 square. So x square minus 9 is going to be my answer. So this is simple matter of application, your observation. Suppose if I say x plus 1 by 2 whole square. So this is a and this is b. And now this is the form of a plus b whole square. I know this, what this is, a square plus 2ab plus b square. And to compare with a is equal to x here and b is equal to 1 by 2. Always take other set of variables than in the identity. Suppose if I have x and y, I use my identity in the form of a and b's. If there are a, b's are there in the question, I will use x and y's. Then it's better that we compare the things very easily and there won't be any confusion or ambiguity there for substitution of values. Suppose if I have 1 or 2 square, 1 or 2 square. So in this one, just can't we solve it using identities? Yes, very much you can write it as 100 plus 2 whole square. You might ask me why I have to take 100 plus 2. Can't I take it as 98 plus 4? Yes, you can take it. But the thing is, it is very easy to find the square of this 110 and all. So that is why I will stick to this one. And I will expand this one. Now it is the form of a plus b whole square. We have a square plus 2ab plus b square. But my a is not a there. A is equal to 100 and b is equal to 2. I will substitute. It is 100 square plus 2 into a is 100 and b is 2 plus b square. It is 2 square. It is 10,000 and it is 2 into 100. 200 and it is 400 and it is 4. It is 10,404 is going to be the answer for this one. So this will be very simple if you find the application part of the identities. So we shall move little further here. Suppose if I want to calculate what is 98 cube, so we have to do it as 98 into 98 into 98. If you don't know identities, always just try to look them in a different way. It is 98. So is there any nearest power of 10 to 98? It is there. That is 100. Can I write as 100 minus 2 whole cube? Now it became a minus b whole cube. A is equal to 100 and b is equal to 2. Some of you in confusion will write here minus 2, but you are comparing only the numbers here. A is 100, as it is you have to take. Now see, we know a minus b whole cube as a cube. So first you don't know it, suppose you write plus a plus b whole cube formula. I told you how to write it: a square b, ab square, b cube. And the coefficient are going to be 1 and 3 and 3 and 1. This from our Pascal triangle concept, that part we have seen. And signs minus, here plus and here minus. So that's it. Now substitute the values. It is 100 cube minus 3 into 100 square into b is 2 plus 3 into 100 into 2 square minus b means 2 cube. When you substitute the values, you will get your answer in a much simpler way. So this is the beauty of algebraic identities. When you understand them properly, they will help you vigorously in your calculations. So just I will take one example where actually your algebraic identities will be much powerful. Suppose if I say 0.6 into 0.6 into 0.6 multiplies 0.7 into 0.7 into 0.7 by 0.6 into 0.6 minus 0.6 into 0.7 plus 0.7 into 0.7. Just by looking at the question itself, it is very annoying, right? So just how to solve this one. I won't see 0.6, 0.6 there, just I am seeing some value is there. I will say a cube plus b cube. It is divided by some same square is there, a square minus ab plus b square. Now if you observe the things, just somewhere just I have an idea, a cube plus b cube is equal to a plus b into a square minus ab plus b square. So in this place, just I can substitute it like a plus b into a square minus ab plus b square divided by a square minus ab plus b square. Just you can cancel these two, whatever will remain, a plus b. What is the replace of a? 0.6. What is the replace of b? 0.7. It will be 1.3, your answer. So if you don't know these identities, it will be taking more than half an hour to solve the same question, which is find the cubes, subtracting them, dividing them. It is very tedious in nature. So this is the beauty of algebraic identities. If you know once, if you have to practice. So you can use the same algebraic expressions in factorization also. Let us see that how we can factorize the things using our algebraic expressions. Suppose I have 49x square minus 1 by 4. I need to factorize it. So by looking at this thing, so when you have expansion of an algebraic identity, we can condense it like the backwards we have to work when you are factorizing it. Why? Because if I have given you a square plus 2ab plus b square, you will write it as a plus b whole square, which is same as a plus b into a plus b. So when I give this one, we have to write this one. But actually what we are given with, we are given an expansion form. We don't know which expansions of which identity it is going to match with. For that we have to work out. So let us see how it will work here. So see, there are two terms. So in which identity we have only two terms? In the expansion we have one identity, a plus b into a minus b is equal to a square minus b square. But can I see a square and b square there? But it is invisibly there. How? This 49x square is 7x whole square minus this 1 by 2, 4 is nothing but 1 by 2 whole square. Now it becomes a square minus b square, and I can write a square minus b square as a plus b into a minus b. So a value 7x plus 1 by 2 into 7x minus 1 by 2. So this is what you will get. So we can use them in factorization also. Let us see more examples. Suppose I need to factorize the given expression as such. what I have to do? First of all, think. So here I can see some cube sort of thing. So in which identities expansion you will get cubes? Definitely four terms are there, and you got cubes somewhere, and there are some minuses. So definitely it has to be somewhere like a minus b whole cube, but it is not clearly visible. How to make it clearly visible? See, this 27p cube I will write it as 3p whole cube, and this 1 by 126 216 I can write as 1 by 6 cube. Why? Because 6 into 6 is 36, 36 into 6 is 216. So if clearly matches a minus a cube minus b cube, but hold on, what about the remaining terms? So I have a minus b whole cube is equal to a cube. As I told you, I have to write in order. So this will be minus 3a square b plus 3b square a minus b cube. I got this term and this term over there. So shall I check this term is coming or not? Minus 3 into, in place of a there is 3p, and in place of b there is 1 by 6, and here it is being squared. Let us say it is squared. So let us see, 3 into 3 square is 9, 9 into 3 27, 27 by 6, 27 by 6, 3 9s are and 3 3s are, 3 2s are, it is 9 by 2, and p square. Yes, it is matching. So 9 by 2 p square, it is perfectly matching with me. Now see, plus 3b square a. Let me check this also. 3 into, in place of b what I have? 6, 1 by 6 square, b square a. A means 3p here. First you blindly follow the first two terms and then just try to arrange the remaining terms here. So 3p, let us simplify this one. 3 square is 6 square is 36, so 1 by 36 it will go 12 times, and 3 by 12 it is 1 by 4, 1 by 4 p it is there here. So like that, correctly matched with my expectation. So 3p minus 1 by 6 whole cube, which is nothing but 3p minus 1 by 6 into 3p minus 1 by 6 into 3p minus 1 by 6. So if you know this one, just we should be writing the reverse order also. When expansion is given, you are writing it as some product, that is factorization. That is what we call basically. Sometimes what will happen, they will suddenly ask something like, suppose if I ask you 14 cube plus 13 cube minus 27 cube is how much? So very well, you can calculate what is 14 cube, what is 13 cube, you can add them. But here I will add a tail to the question. Don't directly multiply or don't find the cubes, find the answer. There comes the picture of algebraic identities. So you have cubes and you have three different numbers, and what is the algebraic identity that we have there? We have a cube plus b cube plus c cube minus 3abc is equal to a plus b plus c multiplied by a square minus ab plus b square. Sorry. So this is a square plus b square plus c square minus ab minus bc minus ca. So this is one we have, but this, in the particular identity itself, there is a condition. If a plus b plus c is equal to 0, this entire part will be 0, and a cube plus b cube plus c cube is equal to 3 times a into b into c. So see here, if I assume this as a cube plus b cube plus c cube, so in place of a 14 is there, in place of b 13 is there, in place of c minus 27 is there. So what is 14 plus 13 minus 27? A plus b plus c is 0. So then what is the value here? 3abc, straightforward. 3 into, in place of a I have 14, in place of b 13, in place of this one I have sub 27. When I multiply all these things, I will be getting my answer. So sometimes the question seems to be indirect, but they will be revolving around this particular concept only. There is nothing that we can't solve using this particular concept. So let us take one more example which is having three variables, but now I will take only squares, not cubes. So if I have 2x plus 3y minus 4z whole square, so there is minus coming in, just it is bothering me. But do I know any identity which is having three variables and having square? Yes, I very well know that. That is a plus b plus c whole square. I know it. So a square plus b square plus c square plus 2ab plus 2bc plus 2ca. Now just compare. In place of if you compare a plus b plus c, I have a is equal to 2x, b is equal to 3y, and c is equal to minus 4z. Now it's a matter of substitution. So always just observe the things, just see the form in which they are, and just try to get back in the form. Sometimes what will happen, suppose if you ask you like, suppose if I give you the value x plus 1 by x is equal to 5, and what is x square plus 1 by x square. So is it that what we have discussed? So there is some sort of relation between whatever is given to you and what has been asked here. How will you get squares here? If I set square both sides, so when you have a equality sign, if you perform any operation on both sides, the value won't change. So for that matter, what will happen in this case? So x plus 1 by x is equal to 5. We use the concept of SOB. It is nothing but squaring on both sides. So when you square it on both sides, so even if I multiply, add, divide, whatever I do on both sides, my concept won't change. My equality sign won't get disturbed. So that is the reason I can write it as x plus 1 by x whole square is equal to 5 square. But don't do a blunder here like writing when you take squares, taking individual squares. You have to take as a whole square. Now it is the form a plus b whole square. I know a plus b whole square is a square plus 2ab plus b square. And in place of a, x is there. So x square plus 2 into x into 1 by x plus 1 by x square is equal to 5 square, which is 25. This x will get cancelled. X square plus 2 plus 1 by x square is equal to 25. Now when I extend this to that side, it will become minus 2. So now it will become x square plus 1 by x square is equal to 23. So this is how, if you relate these things, it will be having a vast application, wide variety of questions we can frame using these particular algebraic identities. But it is a matter of practice. Just we have to observe the things and just we have to listen to them what they're saying. Then sometimes expanded form will be given, you have to factorize them. Sometimes factorization will be given, you have to expand them. So just both ways we have to practice. So practice is the key in these areas. So if you practice wide variety of questions here, what will come to know, so you can be cornered with the different kinds of questions. Some changes will be there in science and all. So just we can manage if you know these basic things, but we have to practice a lot in these areas. I shall take one more example where it seems to be difficult, but it is not so. See, simplify x plus 1 by x into x minus 1 by x into x square plus 1 by x square. If I am asking this one, and if we let me add x square plus 1 by x power 4 also. So to complicate these things, they seem to be very difficult, but that is not so. Why? Let us see that. So if you have these first two terms, what comes to your mind? There is 1 plus, so a plus b into a minus b. The same terms are there. I can compare them with a plus b into a minus b. A plus b into a minus b is basically, I know it as a square minus b square. So a square minus b square, so it's just a square. In place of b, 1 by x is there, 1 by x square. This part is over, and again I'm left with x square plus 1 by x square into x power 4 plus 1 by x power 4. This is the first step. Again if you see here, a minus b, a plus b. Now again I can use a plus b into a minus b. I assume a is equal to x square, b is equal to 1 by x square. The same things are repeated here, a, b. It is a plus b and it is a minus b. Again I have to write it in the form of, just I'm not writing detailedly here. When you do it, actually you have to write it. So a plus b into a minus b is a square minus b square, but in place of a, what is there? X square is there. So x square whole square minus x 1 by x square whole square, which is nothing but you have to multiply with x power 4 minus 1 by x power 4 as it is, plus here x power 4. Why? Because you have to multiply the powers here, minus 1 by x power 4 multiplied by x power 4 plus 1 by x power 4. Now again if we see this one, a plus b, a minus b, again it is a matter of a square minus b square, but now our a is x power 4, so that is why just you will write x power 4 whole square minus 1 by x power 4 whole square. This is x power 8 minus 1 by x power 8. So this is going to be the final answer. So how the question seems to be difficult, that is not important. So if you apply the correct identity what we have, so we should be interchangeably doing it. We have to come from expansion to this what we call factorization, and one factorized form is given, the identity form, that we'll be able to expand it. We have to do them both the ways, then only it will be just in a particular manner. So this entire topic or this entire concept is matter of practice. So if you by heart everything and you kept it aside in your mind, it won't help you. So just we have to practice a lot to cover. So we have to corner everything when signs are changed, how the different questions or different applications can be there. So now, so before I close, just I will take one more example here. So that is when a plus b plus c is equal to 5, and let us say ab plus bc plus ca is equal to 12. I have to find a square plus b square plus c square is how much. If I give you this question, by looking at this one, how many variables can you see there? There are 3 variables, and what is the power that you can see there? There is only one, highest power is 2. Is there an identity which has the power 2 and there are 3 variables? Yes, I have one. So that is a plus b plus c whole square. And just an expansion, just I will be getting a square plus b square plus c square plus 2 times of ab plus bc plus ca. Even if you expand it, the same thing will happen. I have taken 2 outside of it. Now what is the value of a plus b plus c to me? That is 5 square is equal to a plus square plus b square. I don't know this one. Let me take it as some a square plus b square plus c square only, plus 2 into, in this one I have to write how much? 12. So this is what 5 square is 25 is equal to a square plus b square plus c square plus 24. So this is a square plus b square plus c square. When I bring this one here, it will be 25 minus 4, it will be 1. So that is how just you can solve any difficult question with the application of the algebraic identities that we have learned. So hope you have get something from this particular session. So this is a matter of practice. The more questions you familiarize yourself regarding these particular identities, the more you will learn. And one more thing, just that Pascal triangle is very important concept to remember. All the binomial, what we say, x plus y square, x plus y whole cube, x plus y whole power 4, that we can do it. So it will be very useful not only here, in your higher classes also. Just try to make your own Pascal triangle and try to relate the coefficients. And one more important thing, when you are using the Pascal triangle coefficients, you have to write them in order. I should not say a cube plus b cube like that. A cube plus a square b plus a b square plus b cube. So one power has to be simultaneously decreased and the other has to be raised from here, like 0 to the maximum degree, like that. So these little things make a difference. So just practice as many questions you can solve on this particular concept. So hope you enjoy the session. So thank you all.